Hey kids, today we're gonna learn about mobile games again. Who's ready? Seriously? No one? Hello? And I was going to talk about Royal Match too. Such a shit. Okay, on second thought. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, dear viewers. Intel here. Guess what? It's time for another mobile game, but this time around, I'm not gonna be angry. Yeah, I know. Intel not being mad at a mobile game? Something must be wrong here. Really quick before we dive in, I've been wanting to devote a bit of time before videos to showing off the awesome pieces of fan art I've been receiving recently. This amazing artwork was drawn by Dragonfire.
God, Jimmy, this is some serious gourmet shit.
Seriously, this is incredible stuff, and I want to show off what you guys draw. It's the least I can do in return to the hours and hours of time y'all put into these. If you have your own piece of fan art you'd like to share, I have a fan art channel in my Discord server where you can post it. I'm looking forward to seeing more future artwork from you guys. Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled program. Believe it or not every single game on the App Store is a cash-grabbing scam. Some of my videos on this channel understandably would lead people to believe that, but trust me when I say that there are actually some really fun games out there to play. Of course you have your Monopoly Go's and your Coin Masters, and let's not forget the dumb shovelware games that are infested with ads, like this one. Nah, we're not talking about those games today, though. We're covering something that's actually fun. I know, shocking. Y'all are used to me getting angry at these games, and to be fair, I do get angry at a lot of them. Not this one, though. Well, maybe occasionally. Not every game is flawless. I'm looking at you. I can name a ton of great mobile games that hold up to this day. Candy Crush is fantastic nowadays, and I even covered it on the channel. Temple Run is an absolute classic, and Temple Run 2 might be even better. Hill Climb Racing still holds up to this day. Not sure about its sequel, though. I'll have to give that another look at some point. Subway Surfers, while being a clear Temple Run clone, is also a very fun time. Let's not forget about other classics like Angry Birds, Cut the Rope, Where's My Water, Clash of Clans, etc, etc. My point is, you're never going to have any shortage of things to play on your phone, as I've stated plenty of times. The cure to your boredom is right there in the palm of your hand. Eat your heart out, Doc Ock. Before we get to today's topic, let's set some context. Candy Crush clones. They're everywhere. I can name like 10 off the top of my head right now. Cookie Jam, Piggy Kingdom, Fishdom, Match Villains, Treasure Party, Sweetie Legends, Dream Mania, Gummy Drop, Sugar Smash, Tropicats. See, there you go. 10 Candy Crush clones right there without me breaking a sweat. And there's so much more. The release of Candy Crush Saga in 2012 ignited a firestorm of Match 3 games. It's hard to find a puzzle game like this nowadays that doesn't have clear Candy Crush inspirations in its DNA. And let's be fair, Match 3 games aren't the most complicated things in the world. It's hard to come up with entirely original things to do when you're working with a generic match 3 of a kind mechanic. However, there are some match 3 games that even these days manage to stand out, and one of those games has become what I deem to be one of the best match 3 games you can find on the App Store. Royal Match. It's a fitting name. This is Match 3 royalty. Gourmet puzzle solving. Match 3 fine dining, if you will. Today's video will focus on this game. What is Royal Match, and what makes it such a great game? Is it better than Candy Crush? We're answering that today. Kick back and put on your crowns. We're matching in style today. Royal Match, created by Dream, first saw the light of day in July 2020 with a soft launch in the United Kingdom and Canada and release worldwide on February 25th, 2021. The game also has a spiritual successor, or soft sequel, Royal Kingdom, which basically plays the exact same way. I might review that game at some point in the future, if you also desire. When I tell you this game is popular, I mean it. As of March of this year, according to my research, Royal Match was at the top of the App Store revenue charts and is one of the highest grossing mobile games you can find. The popularity of this game cannot be understated. As of me writing this particular paragraph, it's number 3 in the top 10 highest trending popular games on the App Store and is more popular than Candy Crush itself. It's only topped by Roblox and like, dang, it's even more popular than the mobile version of Minecraft, and that's saying something. You can see the game's popularity easily from the amount of people who play it daily to the amount of downloads it's received over the past couple of years. The internet has a lot of different answers for exact numbers this game has generated, but let's just say the numbers are very high no matter where you look. And honestly, this is one of the rare occasions I actually think the popularity is deserved. Unlike some games. The first thing I want to touch on with Royal Match is the marketing. The way this game is advertised is, well, deceptive. The reason I have this game today is because I got an ad for it one day, that day being sometime in January 2022, and that ad got me to download the game. Here's the thing though, the ads for Royal Match, at least most of them, lie to you. Blatantly. There are more than a few videos on YouTube right now pointing this out, saying that the fake ads have got to be stopped. The game itself is insanely different than what the ads tell you the game is like. Let's show some footage of some ads for Royal Match. Yeah, tell me you wouldn't be interested to try this game out for yourself after watching this ad. It looks really cool. Okay, now let's see some actual gameplay footage of Royal Match.
Wait a minute!
Yeah, that's not the same game. That's something we call manipulation. And it works. I mean, look at these numbers. Wow. Now, here's the weird thing about these manipulative, basically fake ads for Royal Match. While they're deceptive and trick you into downloading a game that plays nothing like the ads, the game is fun. It's a good game. I don't know how often this happens with fake ads, but in this case, these ads lead to a legitimately fun experience, even though it's not the experience that was advertised to you. Would the game get as many downloads if the ads showed actual gameplay from Royal Match? I'm honestly not sure. Maybe not. I certainly don't condone false advertising. It's pretty scummy, even if the game you're promoting turns out to be a good time. But what matters is if the game is entertaining, and yes, it certainly is. Look at what level I'm on. I think I like the game. I know, I have absolutely no life. I am an undead skeleton though. I have no shortage of free time. On top of being really popular, the game has made a lot of money, with sources saying the game has made anywhere from $3 billion to $5 billion since launch, with $1.4 billion of that being in 2024 alone. That's so crazy, but the crazier thing is that honestly, besides the fake ads, the game deserves it. Not from the false advertising, of course, but for being a genuinely fun game that isn't pay to win. Shocking to hear me say that, I know, but hear me out and I'll explain why I think this. Let's study how the game works next. For the most part, it's your standard match 3 experience, but with a lot of twists. The main premise is that King Robert, the Jolly King on all of the promotional materials, needs your help growing his properties. I would say that you play as his butler, but there's a butler in the game that gives you power-ups and looks very aghast whenever you lose a level, so it makes you wonder who the player character even is. A second butler? Maybe? Or, here's a dark theory. The player character is King Robert's prisoner, and we're forced to build all of his castle grounds and landmarks and surrounding areas forever. We can never escape, and we're basically in an endless purgatory of serving the king and doing his bidding by dealing with endless puzzles. How about that for a dark edge? Or, this is a match 3 game, why am I putting any thought into this at all? You're not supposed to think about it. Each level you complete earns you a star, and when you reach a certain amount of stars, you can complete a task in the certain area you're in. The first area, for example, has you building the king's castle and setting up the courtyard around it, along with a few other things. After that is the throne room, dining room, garden, library, and a lot more. There's currently 143 different areas in the game as of me writing this script, so it's safe to say you'll be playing this for a very long time if you're just starting out. The main gameplay consists of you making matches and completing levels in a variety of ways. Just like Candy Crush, you have a specific amount of moves provided, and you must complete the level's objective before running out of moves, which is easier said than done on some levels. There's also various level difficulties. There's normal levels, which are a mixed bag in terms of how difficult they can be, hard levels, which are usually pretty challenging and have had me stuck for long periods of time in the past, and the intimidating super hard levels, which can be surprisingly easy sometimes, but can also have you going, these levels, as Forrest Gump would say, are like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get from King Robert. Matching 3 of a kind of a specific color will remove it from the board. Match 4 of a kind to create a firework rocket that will clear out an entire horizontal or vertical row on the board. You can also match 4 of a kind in a square to create a propeller that will go after specific things on the board considering what your current level objective is. Match a specific color in an L or T shape to create a barrel of TNT, which will blow up a significant portion of the board. And finally, you can match 5 of a kind to create a light ball, which will remove all of a specific color from the board. There's also the super light ball, which has double the power of a normal light ball and will make levels an absolute joke if you have this thing active. It's actually insane. A big way this game changes up the match 3 formula is being able to use power-ups you create on the board whenever you want. All you have to do is touch the power-up and it activates it. Don't feel like having to move your TNT to blow it up? No problem. Just tap on it and it'll explode, and that goes for any other power-ups. You can also match 2 propellers together to create a cluster of propellers to remove more stuff, match 2 TNTs together to create a gigantic blast, and match a rocket and TNT together to make an even bigger blast. There's also an option to match a propeller with a rocket, which will take the rocket over to whatever your level objective is, and matching a propeller with TNT will create a little flying bomb that goes after, you guessed it, whatever your current level objective is. It's a nice, well-designed little mechanic that's incredibly useful and adds more depth than you might think. Be careful though, doing what I just listed does count as using a move, so don't use it too much if you don't have to. Of course, what Match 3 game doesn't have additional power-ups to aid you in completing levels without using moves? Royal Match has a fun and unique selection of these to use. You have a Royal Hammer, which can break anything you use it on, a bow and arrow, which clears out an entire horizontal row on the board, a cannon, which clears out a vertical row on the board, and a Jester Hat, which shuffles the board to help you create more matches and sometimes creates matches for you considering how well the shuffle turns out. Sometimes though, the shuffles won't really do much for you, and you've just wasted a Jester Hat. How does it feel?
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
The game's main currency is coins. You can use coins to buy extra moves to continue a level if you're about to lose, and you can use them to buy additional power-ups and extra lives. Just like Candy Crush, you have 5 lives to use and lose 1 every time you fail a level, and you have to wait for your lives to recharge. You can also use coins to purchase card packs, something we'll get to later, along with event tokens to help complete whatever in-game event you're trying to finish. What makes the game different from others when it comes to the coins is that you get additional coins not only as rewards for completing events, but also just for completing levels with different coin amounts depending on the level difficulty. It's a great feature. Since you're able to build up coins over time, especially if you're halfway decent at the game, you don't have to worry about purchasing more if you need to use some. This ties into the game not being insanely money hungry like other apps. It has microtransactions, of course, because what mobile game doesn't these days, but it doesn't bombard you with pop-up windows begging you to buy coins and such. It's refreshing. There's a couple of sales windows you can open to buy packs of coins and stuff, and there's a shop where you can buy coins and power-ups, which have absolutely outrageous prices as per usual. I mean, look at this. But I have never ever been inclined to spend money in this game because, well, the game isn't pay to win. I'm on level 11,640 or whatever level I'm on in this footage being shown, and I have only ever spent money 1 time. It was 99 cents and it was by accident. And let's be real, if I had to spend a lot of money on a phone game, I'd do it here over games like Monopoly Go and Dice Dreams and Coin Master. Screw Coin Master. Okay, so I've established the gameplay and other basic gimmicks of Royal Match. What makes it different from other Match 3 games? Well, I'll tell you how it's different. Royal Match not only offers dozens upon dozens of different level mechanics, which we'll get to later, but it's also a weird hybrid of a bunch of different types of games, from certain reward mechanics to in-game events, all mixed into a Match 3 game experience. It's got the Royal Pass, where you unlock different rewards by completing levels and collecting keys, which is pretty common in most games like this, but it also has a top bar progression system that you fill by either collecting red books by matching them in levels, or by creating propellers. This bar is very similar to the progression bar in games like Monopoly Go, but Dream isn't copying Scopely with that. If anything, Scopely copied this game.
Are you mocking me? Are you mocking me? Stop it, you just didn't do it again. He's trying to copy you.
The actual in-game events are where things get interesting. There's plenty of single-player flash events, such as the archery arena, where the more levels you beat, the more points you get for rewards, a lava quest where you try to beat 7 levels in a row without losing to win a big prize of coins, a treasure digging game called Hidden Temple, similar to Monopoly Go's treasure game, where you collect pickaxes by completing levels to dig up gems of varying sizes, a mission mode where doing specific tasks like beating levels and collecting coins and cards will help you get to the end of the missions, Ocean Odyssey, where you fire balls at stuff like fish and crabs and logs, Balloon Rise, where the more levels you beat, the better the rewards with a grand prize at the end, and most recently a merged carnival game and another temple adventure mode where you beat 5 levels in a row without losing to get to a big prize. I also can't forget the newer events like Robot Rivals, where you battle another player by completing levels, and there's probably more that I'm forgetting. There's also partner events in this game too. Right now there's 2 main partner events, the Train Journey and Dragon's Nest. Nest. For Train Journey, you and a partner move a train around a square board and try to collect enough points to build rails. If you build 3 rails with 3 partners, your train is able to make it all the way to the end tunnel, and you win a new name design, coins, cards, and more. This is kind of whatever. I don't really like this mode, but if you like it, more power to you. With the Dragon Nest, this works a lot like Monopoly Go's partner events, but instead of spinning a wheel to get points, you spin a wheel in the train game. It's confusing, I know. You drop magic balls into a Plinko machine, and the more points you get, the more you upgrade your dragon. If you raise all 4 dragons, you win a big grand prize. These prizes range from a new avatar frames to a new car for your collection, and a lot of coins. You're rewarded pretty handsomely for completing challenges. There's also a little side tournaments such as King's Cup, where you try to earn as many cups as possible over other players for rewards, Lightning Rush, where you try to generate power from using light balls that have more power than other players to get rewards, a plane race where you try to beat 15 levels before everyone else, and other little tournament-like events such as Space Mission, where you try to complete a certain amount of levels faster than other players. They're a fun time and keep you engaged. There's a certain thrill in trying to complete as many levels as possible as fast as you can before someone else does. The game also offers team events, where you and the team you're part of try and collect things like ship wheels and shields, and working as a team will net you a lot of coins, 6,000 for first place. My team has actually achieved this in the past, and it's very satisfying. Speaking of teams, man, this is such a good mechanic. You can chat with your team members, request cards, and strategize on how you want to win tournaments, and you can request lives from people and send lives to those who need it. Great feature. Every game should have a feature like this. Are you listening? A smaller thing that happens every now and then is the King's Nightmare minigame, which shows up occasionally. This minigame is probably the closest the game gets to what's in the marketing. It's not one-to-one, but it's an attempt. You can either complete levels quickly with unlimited moves under a time limit to rescue the king from dying horribly in his dream, what is this, Nightmare on Elm Street, or solve a differently designed puzzle to achieve the same result. These are optional minigames, but completing them will give you a small coin reward, so they're worthwhile if you're hurting for coins. All that to say, Royal Match has no shortage of things to do, and all the events are super easy to understand and play. All you have to do is complete levels to get whatever tokens or points that are needed to play. When it comes to actually completing these events, it's pretty hit or miss. The only negative thing I can think of when it comes to the events in this game is that you have to complete a lot of levels to get the amount of resources needed for most of them. The train game and Dragon Nest are 2 things I can think of right off the bat. However, if you can get on a hot streak, especially with the ×2 power-up active, you can rack up a lot of rewards to make completing events less time-consuming. Here's something else Royal Match does to keep things interesting: the level mechanics. I don't know how Dream does it, but they somehow keep coming up with new obstacles and ways to complete levels. There's so many levels in this game now, and so many mechanics that even I'm having trouble remembering all of them. There's of course the simple ones, which range from removing grass from the board, breaking eggs, pots, and boxes, destroying stone blocks, removing honey off the board, collecting letters, and more, to harder ones like bushes where clearing them creates more grass, plate cupboards that require multiple matches to remove, and more. What I just listed isn't even scratching the surface. There's dozens more, like spreading jelly all over the board, removing moles, activating Tesla coils to remove everything from the board. Seriously, there's so many more that I'm forgetting. It's almost overwhelming. It takes the level variety into absolute overdrive, and I seriously don't think I can list all of the mechanics even if I tried. Like, mechanics introduced in level 200 will show up in level 9423. It's actually pretty crazy. Again, I'd list them all, but just trust me and play the game. Something else I want to mention is how the game is structured with the levels. There's a specific pattern with every 10 levels. The first level is an easier, more power-up focused level that provides some relief from the super hard level you just did. The next 3 levels are normal levels, the 5th level is a hard level, and the next 3 are normal levels again, and the 9th level is a super hard level. Rinse and repeat every 10 levels, as I said. I like the way this is set up. It gets the player into a rhythm and helps them expect what kind of level is coming next, but they're not ever going to know what mechanics are going to be used in each level. It keeps things very fresh. Okay, so that's a general breakdown of what Royal Match offers you. Cut to the chase. Why is it good? You're claiming it's a very fun game. Why is that? Why should I play this, Intel? First off, I mean, just look at it. The game is incredibly charming with super clean visuals and a lot of polish. It has some fun attention to detail. The king is always watching you in each level, and he's super expressive. He even starts getting nervous when you're running low on moves, and becomes very sad when you lose. On the contrary, he gets super excited and gives you a big 2 thumbs up when you beat a level. Again, it's quite charming, I gotta admit. Royal Match also runs at a smooth 60 frames per second. Sometimes there's frame drops, but it's not enough to hurt the gameplay, and the music is bumping. What music there is, anyway. The OST isn't all that expansive, but when it's a game like this, I don't think it needs a giant long list of songs. Back in the early days of release, the game only had like 3 songs that played on repeat on every level, with an additional track that plays when you're on the main menu. Nowadays, they've added a bit more, specifically new music on the hard and super hard levels. It's a small addition, but welcome, because when you hear the same stupid goofy music that plays on regular levels playing on hard levels, it for some reason adds to the rage when you keep losing over and over. Maybe that's just me. I'm probably bad at the game. The levels are also fast-paced and overall pretty doable. Don't get me wrong, there are some insanely hard levels in this game that have had me stuck for weeks before, mainly due to a combination of really annoying mechanics, something we'll get to later. But like with Candy Crush, the dopamine hit when you finally beat these levels is something to behold. Not only do the levels offer a fun challenge most of the time, but beating them leads to actual progression. You get to build things in each area and expand King Robert's ever-growing empire. It's a lot of fun to see what the developers come up with next in terms of new areas and level designs. And let's not forget that this game has bonus levels. Each new area that's added to the game adds a whopping 100 new levels, and the 100th level in each area is the bonus level. These levels give you 20 moves to gain as many coins as you can before running out, and not only do you get that amount of coins, but you also get a chest for completing each area that grants you an additional 250 coins, a card pack, and power-ups. It's a great incentive to finish areas. Another thing I'm going to praise that I never thought I would ever praise is this game's card collection mechanic. It, in many ways, is identical to Monopoly Go's sticker albums. The cards function the exact same way. There's multiple different types of card packs, ranging from the common brown pack that offers 2 cards of varying star levels, all the way to the rare pink pack that gives you 6 cards, and the mighty red pack, which gives you a guaranteed new card that you're missing. Each collection has 135 cards, with some gold cards that can't be traded, and the reward is 10,000 coins, a boatload of power-ups, and a special golden badge related to the collection you can display on your profile to brag that you completed it. You can even complete the current collection a second time to get 15,000 coins, even more power-ups, and a pretty crystal badge to show you play this game non-stop and nothing else. So what's my praise? Well, the collections can actually be completed. I've completed several of the collections since they were introduced. The cards have always been in the game, but they functioned a little differently until the last year or two. The old cards in Royal Match actually used to be similar to Coin Masters cards, where new sets were unlocked with every new area you unlocked. However, recently, Royal Match revamped the cards to function more like Monopoly Go stickers and other games that are similar. Not only are the cards fun to collect, but the collections can actually be completed, as I said. You can also trade in stars to get chests that give you additional card packs and power-ups, specifically the 500-star chest where you get a red pack with a guaranteed new card in it. It helps you finish sets, and I've finished the entire collection sometimes with these red packs. I've completed all but a couple of the collections, only because during these collections I wasn't playing as much, but that's not the game's fault. Out of all the sticker/card collections in these games, I truly believe Royal Match does it best. And it's respectable. Not only does the game not beg for your money, but it doesn't make mechanics like this pay to win. Another reason why this game is so highly rated. With all that to say, yeah, Royal Match has definitely earned its popularity. It's fun and addicting, it looks good, and it has an endless supply of levels and areas to continue completing, and it offers some of the best level variety in any Match 3 game I've ever played. You can tell Dream pays attention to what they've created in the past, and you can see it in the way past mechanics from older levels are mixed in with newer mechanics from more recent levels in very creative ways. It keeps the levels fresh and interesting, as I said before. You have no idea what the next level is going to be like. Not to mention that the game doesn't require phone data or Wi-Fi to play, so if you're stuck somewhere with no internet or service, you can still play the game. You just can't connect to any tournaments that include other players though. You would think this game gets pretty monotonous after a while considering how repetitive it sounds, but it really doesn't. As of writing this script, I'm on level 11,636 and I've been playing this game for nearly 4 years. I'm not tired of it yet, if that tells you anything. You'd think I would be, but I'm not. I'm telling you, this game is good, I promise. I can hear all of you typing though. Intel, are you just going to glaze Royal Match for this whole video? Is there nothing in the game you don't like? How much is Dream paying you for this? First of all, nothing. Not a sponsor. I just like the game a lot. However, it's great that you bring this up. Although I love this game a lot and play it all the time, that doesn't mean it's immune from criticism. There are certainly things that bother me. Let's go over what makes me mad. As I always quote the great Vince Genix, when you love someone, you gotta tell them how it is sometimes. tough love is required every now and then. While Royal Match has a lot of fun mechanics it throws around and plays a lot of mixing and matching, there are certain mechanics that really piss me off. Let's go over a few of them, shall we? In certain levels, you can find what I deem throwing random BS all over the board mechanics. Why do I call it that? Well, with these, you have to make 3 matches next to a specific object, and once you do that, it spits out something onto the board that you either have to clear or collect. There's plenty of variations of this mechanic in the game, but there are 3 specific ones that make me want to chuck my phone across the room. The first type of this mechanic you'll encounter is the gem top hat. Make 3 matches next to the top hat, and it'll vomit 3 gems onto random spots on the board, and you have to collect the gems by either matching them or getting them with power-ups. Once you collect enough of them, the top hats flip over and close. The next variation, which I feel is the most annoying out of these 3, are the pumpkin cauldrons, and the game is absolutely obsessed with bringing these stupid things back again and again and again. You make 3 matches next to a cauldron, and it spits out 3 pumpkins to random spots on the board, and you have to destroy them by making 2 matches next to them. This gets incredibly annoying very quickly, especially when the pumpkins are lobbed to the most obnoxious spots possible, and then you run out of moves because you can't get those pumpkins. The amount of times I've lost levels because of these stupid pumpkins is palpable. The third variation of this mechanic are the grass seed boxes, which throw a ball of grass to random spots on the board after making 3 matches next to them, which you then have to clear. This is also a very annoying mechanic, but I don't think it's quite as annoying as the pumpkins. I audibly groan every time I see one of these mechanics pop up in a level, and I audibly cry out in pain when I see the cauldrons. What makes these mechanics so annoying to me is that it spits out the gems, pumpkins, or grass to random spots on the board, which in turn makes these levels very luck-based at times. I know a lot of levels in this game need a bit of luck to succeed, but with these levels, you gotta just hope the pumpkins land in a good spot. Otherwise, there are plenty of mechanics in this game that are annoying, but they're more tedious to deal with than anything. These, however, can go die in a fire. I almost always have to spend coins to get past these levels. I don't care if you think that's a skill issue. It's annoying and I don't like it. Another thing that bothers me in Royal Match is Royal League. This is unlocked when you're hopelessly addicted to the game and complete the game's newest set of 100 levels before the game is updated with new levels. You're taken to a luxurious area filled with coins and other goodies and compete against players by replaying old levels that feel way harder than they were before. The contest lasts until the game is updated again with new levels. You earn crowns with every Royal League level you complete, and the top 3 players with the most crowns get coin rewards, with the bottom 7 players getting Royal Hammers. Royal League is probably the weakest aspect of Royal Match. The rewards you get in this mode just aren't worth it, and I find myself spending every last coin I have to complete the levels, only to not even make the top 10 at the end of the tournament. Now, yeah, this mode is optional. You don't have to keep playing once you complete all the new levels the game puts out, but if you want to keep playing, you have to deal with the Royal League older levels. The amount of times I've lost all my coins trying to win a bunch of Royal League levels is more than I would like to admit. It's embarrassing.
And there's no money in here!
Another small thing I used to have an issue with was the lack of music variety the game offered, as I mentioned earlier in this video. Most of the time it was the same 3 songs playing over and over in every level, which still happens aside from the hard and super hard levels. To Dream's credit, they have added in other tunes for events and such, so the OST has expanded a little bit at the very least. I don't usually play this game with the sound on unless me and my wife want to cackle about how silly the music is. And while the music is silly, it's honestly pretty catchy. I just wish there was more of it in the main levels aside from the same 3 songs over and over again. Besides all of that, I really like Royal Match. Should they be putting out deceptive ads to get people to download the game? No, of course they shouldn't. Advertise the game the way it is. It's disappointing because if the game had these mini-games the way they were presented in the ads as a separate mode or just intertwined with the other levels on top of everything else, that would be fine. Don't false advertise to people. The game is good, but advertise that good game to everyone. Don't be afraid to show off what you've made. They have celebrities promoting this game, so that right there is enough to get people to see it. I hope they change the advertising soon because I'm not a fan of it. Luckily, the game is good enough to have people stick around after downloading, otherwise Dream would be in a world of hurt. Besides the ads, the game is well-rounded, well-polished, and plays flawlessly. Considering how many levels are in the game now, you're never going to run out of things to do, even if you're at the point where you have to wait for the game's next update for new levels. You have Royal League for that, Yay. My verdict? I definitely recommend trying this game out if you haven't and have been on the fence with downloading it. It's far better than Candy Crush in my eyes. The massive variety in the level design, along with actually being able to complete card collections and compete in tournaments without everything being rigged and pay to win, is very refreshing, and more games need to be like it. It makes me actually want to play the game, and it's not a chore to sit through like with Dice Dreams and Coin Master. As I said earlier, the game has made between $3 and $5 billion since launch, and it did that without being money hungry like Monopoly Go. Take notes, Scopely. As I said at the start of this review, Royal Match has a spiritual successor called Royal Kingdom. It's very similar, but if you guys want me to cover that game in the future, let me know. It's also a really good game. Dream is cooking over in their studio. And I think that'll do it for this review on Royal Match. What do you guys think? How do you like the game, and do you agree it's one of the better Match 3 mobile games out there to play? What does it do right and wrong? Is Candy Crush better? Let me know down in the comments. I'd really like to hear what you all think. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to show that like button, who's boss, and subscribe today to become an intellectual and join the conversations we have around here. I'd love to have you on board. I also have a Discord server, so if you want to join that and hang out with me and other members of the community, click the link in the description. I also want to give a special shout out to my current channel members, Aiden Moore, Aether, and Reviol. If you want to become a member just like them and get special perks like early access to videos, member shoutouts, and more, click the link in the description. I love you guys. I'm going to shut up now. Have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, everyone. Peace! I love you!